Hello, everyone. This hour on Verbling, the next in my Great Short Stories series. What we're going to be doing today is discussing 3 short stories that we've read on Tuesday's class. We might want to read the last short story because they're so short. We would read the last one that I asked you to do on your own. But other than that, we're going to focus more on the discussion questions that I gave you. And of course, I'll let you go where you want in the discussion as well. You don't have to stick to my questions per se. So that's a little bit about the class. Here's a bit about me. I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. By the way, here are 3 quick rules to help you participate. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up. That means turn off your microphone when you're not speaking so we can keep the classroom quiet. Tune in to the new words that you're learning and use them actively when you are speaking so I can correct you and give you lots of feedback. Finally, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. And now, on screen, you should see the first image, the graphic, when you open our story document, and the 3 authors, Stephen Dixon, Spencer Holst, and George Sanders. So, where you know you're in the right place. Let me see who's out there. We've got Sylvia. Hello, Sylvia. How are you today?
Hi, I'm fine, thanks.
Very good. And who else is out there? Sergio. Hello, Sergio.
Teacher. Hello, teacher. How are you?
Long time no see, Sergio.
Yes, a long time ago. I
When
was
was the last time you were here?
Sorry?
When was the last time you were here?
Oof, a month ago or more, I think.
A month ago. Okay. It's been a little while. Nice to have you back.
You're welcome.
We've got, let's see who else is out there. We've got Mr. B from Vietnam, I think. Is that where you're from, B?
You're right.
Okay. How are you? Let's see. Carolina. Hello, Carolina.
Hi.
Can you hear me okay, Carolina?
Yes.
Carolina, where are you from again? I don't remember.
I'm from Spain.
From Spain. From Madrid?
No, Barcelona.
Oh, from Barcelona. Okay, very good. And let's see, who else is out there that I don't know? Katerina.
Hi, nice to meet you.
And where are you from exactly?
I'm from Italy, but I'm Swiss too.
You're from Italy, but you're Swiss, or you're from Italy, but you're living?
Swiss and Italian.
Ah, so you're Swiss Italian.
Yes.
And where are you? Are you in Italy or are you in Switzerland?
Yes, now in Italy, but I'm going to live in Zurich next month. Yes.
How's your German?
Yeah, not so well, but I need to improve that.
So in Zurich, is it more German or is it?
Yes, it's more German, but I'm going to live to work in a Italian chambers of commerce. I don't know.
Ah.
Yeah. So there we speak Italian. So.
Should be easier.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. And we've got Daniel. Welcome back, Daniel.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. And Joe. Hello, Joe.
Hello, John. How's it going?
Pretty good. Joe, where are you? I can't remember where you're from. It's been a while.
From Cairo.
From Cairo. Very good. Okay. Here's the important question for all of you, because I see some new faces. Did you already read the stories?
I have read all the stories.
Oh, I know you did.
But all stories are good. But among them, I like the story Sticks most of all.
Really? I thought I thought you would be into the last one even more.
Last one is funny. It looks like a Russian anecdote, but I like sticks. Yes, all stories are good, but when I read the sticks, I feel as if I read a long story.
True, yeah.
Although it's a very short story, it's amazing. Yeah.
Me
There
too.
are many imagination.
I had the same feeling, actually. I had much more than the other ones.
Yeah.
Let me just verify with everyone else, because we read these stories on Tuesday, so all of you have already read the stories, right?
Yes.
No. I mean everyone else. Has anyone not read the stories?
No,
I only read the
I
first
don't.
Yes, I haven't.
So wait.
No.
I never.
So
I hadn't read.
okay.
I hadn't.
So let's do this. Because these stories are short, I think
Story is very short, but it takes time to understand. It's difficult to understand soon, so it takes time for me to recognize, to understand the.
It will take time, but let's do this. Because these are short, I think that. Let me just think how I'm going to do this here. So, because they're short enough that we could. If I have you read it, I'm afraid it's going to take too long. If I read it, I can do it a little bit faster for those of you who aren't familiar with them. So, did anyone not read the first story?
Just me?
Just
yes,
you.
I hadn't.
Oh, so
No,
2 people.
no.
3 people. Okay. All right. I think what we're going to do is this. For those of you who haven't read the stories, it's going to be a little difficult. I'm going to read all 3 stories because they're short, and I'm going to do it very quickly, just to save time, because otherwise we won't be able to do the discussion.
Yes.
Okay. So normally I would have you read, but we already did that on Tuesday. So this time I'm going to read, and then we're going to go right into our discussion. So I'm going to read them back to back. Okay? You're going to follow along, and I'm going to ask you to just hold your questions until the very end. Okay? Is that okay with everyone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And the new people? Okay? All right.
Yes.
So, okay. So I'm going to ask everyone just to turn off your microphone for the next 10 minutes. I'm going to read all stories very quickly. Whatever questions you have, just write them down, and whether it's about comprehension or words or anything, write them down, and we'll handle them at the end. Okay, and then we'll go into our discussion, and we will thoroughly compare these stories. By the way, these aren't stories that have been really analyzed a lot. They're quite recent, so I don't necessarily know more than you. I have just as many questions as you do, but that's what we're here for. We're here to have a discussion. Wife in reverse. I'm going to make this big on the screen so you can follow it as well. Here we go. Follow along. I'm going to be really quick with this. Wife in Reverse by Stephen Dixon. By the way, everyone, please turn off your microphones. I'm hearing an echo. Please turn off your microphone for the next 10 minutes. His wife dies, mouth slightly parted and one eye open. He knocks on his younger daughter's bedroom and says, "You better come. Mom seems to be expiring." His wife slips into a coma 3 days after she comes home and stays in it for 11 days. They have a little party the second day she's home. Nova Scotia salmon, chocolates, a risotto he made, brie cheese, champagne. An ambulance brings his wife home. She says to him, "Wheel me around the garden before I go to bed for the last time." His wife refuses the feeding tube the doctors want to put in her and insists she wants to die at home. She says, "I don't want any more life support, fluid, or food." He calls 911 for the 4th time in 2 years and tells the dispatcher, "My wife, I'm sure she has pneumonia again." His wife has a trach put in. "When will it come out?" she says. And the doctor says, "To be honest, never." Your wife has a very bad case of pneumonia, the doctor tells him, and his daughters the first time, and has a 1 to 2 chance of surviving. His wife now uses a wheelchair. His wife now uses a motor cart. His wife now uses a walker with wheels. His wife now uses a walker. His wife has to use a cane. His wife's diagnosed with MS. His wife has trouble walking. His wife gives birth to their second daughter. "This time you didn't cry," she says. And he says, "I'm just as happy though." His wife says to him, "Something's wrong with my eyes." His wife gives birth to their daughter. The obstetrician says, "I've never seen a father cry in the birthing room." The rabbi pronounces them man and wife, and he bursts out crying. "Let's get married," he says to her. And she says, "It's all right with me," and he starts crying. "What a reaction," she says, and he says, "I'm so happy, so happy." And she hugs him, and she says, "So am I." She calls and says, "How are you? Do you want to meet and talk?" She drops him off in the front of the building and says, "It's just not working." He meets a woman at a party. They talk for a long time. She has to leave the party to go to a concert. He gets her phone number and says, "I'll call you tomorrow." And she says, "I'd like that." And he says goodbye to her at the door and shakes her hand. And after she leaves, he thinks, that woman's going to be my wife. Ooh. Okay, second story. Listen carefully. Sticks by George Sanders. This one is even shorter. Every year, Thanksgiving night, we flocked out behind Dad as he dragged the Santa suit to the road and draped it over a kind of crucifix he'd built. He'd built out of a metal pole in the yard. Super Bowl week, the pole was dressed in a jersey and Rod's helmet, and Rod had to clear it with Dad if he wanted to take the helmet off. 4th of July, the pole was Uncle Sam. On Veterans Day, a soldier. On Halloween, a ghost. The pole was Dad's one concession to glee. We were allowed a single Crayola from the box at a time. One Christmas Eve, he shrieked at Kimmy for wasting an apple slice. He hovered over us as we poured ketchup, saying, "Good enough, good enough, good enough." Birthday parties consisted of cupcakes and no ice cream. The first time I brought a date over, she said, "What's with your dad and that pole?" And I sat there blinking. We left home, married, had children of our own, found the seeds of meanness blooming also within us. Dad began dressing the pole with more complexity and less discernible logic. He draped some kind of fur over it on Groundhog's Day and lugged out a flashlight to ensure a shadow. When an earthquake struck Chile, he laid the pole on its side and spray painted a rift in the earth. Mom died, and he dressed the pole as death and hung from the crossbar photos of Mom as a baby. We'd stopped by and find odd talismans from his youth arranged around the base. Army medals, theater tickets, old sweaters, tubes of Mom's makeup. One autumn, he painted the pole bright yellow. He covered it with cotton swabs that winter for warmth and provided offspring by hammering in 6 crossed sticks around the yard. He ran lengths of string between the pole and the sticks and taped to the strings letters of apology, admissions of error, pleas for understanding, all written in a frantic hand on index cards. He'd painted a sign saying "Love" and hung it from the pole, and another that said "Forgive." And then he died in the hall with the radio on, and we sold the house to a young couple who yanked out the pole and left it by the road on garbage day. Last story, The Zebra, storyteller by Spencer Holst. Once upon a time there was a Siamese cat who pretended to be a lion and spoke inappropriate Zebraic. That language is whinnied by the race of striped horses in Africa. Here now, an innocent zebra is walking in a jungle, and approaching from another direction is the little cat. They meet. "Hello there," says the Siamese cat in perfectly pronounced Zebraic. "It is certainly a pleasant day, isn't it? The sun is shining, the birds are singing. Isn't the world a lovely place to live today?" The zebra is so astonished at hearing a Siamese cat speaking like a zebra. Why, he's just fit to be tied. So the little cat quickly ties him up, kills him, and drags the better parts of the carcass back to his den. The cat successfully hunted zebras many months in this manner, dining on filet mignon of zebra every night. And from the better hides he'd made bow neckties, wide belts, and after the fashion of the decadent princes of the old Siamese court. He began boasting to his friends he was a lion. He gave them as proof the fact that he hunted zebras. The delicate noses of the zebras told them there was really no lion in the neighborhood. The zebra deaths caused many to avoid the region. Superstitious, they decided the woods were haunted by the ghost of a lion. One day, the storyteller of zebras was ambling, and through his mind ran plots for stories to amuse the other zebras, when suddenly his eyes brightened and he said, "That's it! I'll tell a story about a Siamese cat who learns to speak our language. What an idea! That'll make him laugh." Just then, the Siamese cat appeared before him and said, "Hello there! Pleasant day, isn't it?" The zebra storyteller wasn't fit to be tied at hearing a cat speaking his language, because he'd been thinking about that very thing. He took a good look at the cat, and he didn't know why, but there was something about his looks he didn't like. So he kicked him with a hoof and killed him. That is the function of the storyteller. And there you go. So, oh, you know what? I don't have my questions on the screen. I'm going to put them on the screen for you. So, for those of you who heard the stories for the first time, did you like them?
Yes, I like them very much.
And what about the rest of you?
Yes.
Yes, I like it. Yes, I did like it.
Oh, that's very loud. Listen, I'm going to put the questions on the screen for you if this lets me. Oh, what's happening? And we're going to have a little discussion right now. I know that some of you might... Oh, what's happening here? Uh-oh, I might be having a hangout problem. Give me just a second here. Let me open this. Before we launch into our... Oh, something's wrong with my browser again. Okay, I can't put the questions on the screen for you, but let me just start by asking if there's any major questions about any vocabulary, just questions about comprehension first. So we'll clear that up and then we'll go into our discussion.
I have a question. Second story. In the end of story, there is a sentence. He painted a sign saying love and hung it from the pole. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've understand so far. And another that said forgive. Here, another that said forgive. I can't imagine the situation here. So he created two signs. One of this is love, written love, and second one is written the word forgive.
Yeah, I think.
Why there is a question mark after forgive?
Because it's a question.
He
really is.
He wrote with a question, yeah?
The second one is a question, yeah.
I see.
It's literal. It's a question.
Do you forgive me? Yeah, maybe, kind of.
The confusing thing for me is he talking about himself, or is he talking about these sticks that he planted earlier? Because he says, okay, so, because look, he says, one autumn he painted the pole bright yellow, right?
Yes.
Okay. By the way, my
Hello?
Hello,
Hello.
Daniel. I
Yeah.
think John was gone.
Yes. Hangout problems,
Yes.
as always.
Teacher has gone.
Yes. I don't understand. He is living in quite a developed country. Yeah.
When John has gone, the boss is Jacquino.
He has gone with our money.
Without money. I don't understand. he he haven't received his salary. You mean?
Haven't.
Yuki, you are
Yes.
the professor when John
Oh,
has gone.
you are kidding, Daniel. You will be teacher.
No. You had
I
more
admit
time
you
than
are
me.
teacher. Yes. I give you a honor to be teacher here,
No.
Daniel.
You're a real teacher, I know.
No. I
You can
Don't
be the
fight.
teacher.
Don't fight. Don't fight. Don't fight. Let's
my
be.
my my
You can
be,
start.
my awful English level not suitable for to being a teacher
Yuki,
here.
let's be.
Yeah.
Yuki, let's
Sorry.
be take a vote for a teacher right here. Let's be take a vote.
What do you mean? I don't get.
Let's
I
be
don't get it.
taking a vote. Let's be take a vote.
Take me a whole vote for
Let's
what?
be take vote. 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 Voting.
Voting. No. No.
Let's be take a vote. Who wants to be Daniel as a teacher or you are as a teacher?
I
Me
see.
voting.
Vote. Let's vote. Oh, do you think it's a good idea? I think
I don't know.
all students vote for Daniel.
I think we will vote
I
you.
believe
Yeah.
he's a kind of leader in the class, Daniel.
Yeah.
Do you think so, Daniel? You recognize? Don't you recognize you are leader of the class?
No.
Yeah.
No?
No.
I'm back.
Maybe in
John.
Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Welcome back, John.
Thank you.
Now we decide that Daniel will be teacher instead of you.
That's fine with me.
I'm sorry for you. You are fired now.
No problem.
No problem.
I'm absolutely fine with that. No problem at all.
We
Go ahead.
all-
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Okay. Let's
Go ahead, Daniel. You lead the way.
Oh, I have a
Teacher Daniel.
weird problem.
Hello.
In
Teacher
Spanish, I can lead. Yes.
So sorry about the disappearance. I was just saying that it seems like he's dressing the sticks up, and then that's where you have the question after that, because he hammers these 6 sticks, so he gives like a little family for the pole, and then he runs lengths of string between them and starts to tape these messages. So Yuki,
Yes.
are the messages from him, or are they messages between the sticks? That's the part where I was a bit confused.
It is confusing, but I think judging by the context, the text, he painted the sign, yeah, saying love. So he different. Certainly he has wrote these two words, yeah. And
but are they meant to be from him, or are they meant to be from the sticks to each other? That's my question. That's I
can't imagine what is the position of hanging sign. It is both sides of pole. There was there were letters. There were words.
No. Between the sticks, like he's got these little sticks and he runs string between them.
Yes. He put sticks. Yeah.
That's right.
Besides a pole, he put 6 crossed sticks around the yard. Yeah. And he connected them with strings. Yeah.
Right.
It sounds crazy, but and after that he paint a sign. Yeah. He wrote a word love and another sign. Yeah. Another
on the
sign.
back, maybe on the back.
On the back of sign. I see.
They're both hanging from the main pole. Right?
Now I see. And he hung the sign from the to the pole. Yeah. I think it's a kind of a message from him to all people in the world. When he will die, he are dying. No.
When he is dying, you mean?
When he is dying.
I see. And so what do you think he's trying to say or do with that?
It's a kind. I don't know. I suppose that he wants to say thank you all people for treat me. No, thank you for the world. I want to give you the word love. And I'm sorry for my indecent behavior. Please forgive me. Such a kind of thing. Yes.
So, what do you think, Sylvia? Do you agree with that part about the signs in sticks? Do you agree with what Yuki's saying, that he's sending a sign to the world?
I thought it was only something that they did in their family.
I think it has a lot to do with the family too. So, if the sign isn't for the world, is it for the family, or is it for the family of sticks? Because he's created this pole with these little crosses around it, and it seems like there are little messages on index cards, and then a big sign on the main. So what do you think he's trying to say?
I think it's a message for all the people he loves.
Yeah, that could be.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, sorry.
It's a really, really sad story.
It is.
It was only something for the family, to the union of the family. So it's something that they can develop each year with something new. And it's not a sign for the world. It's something more close only for them. Because when they start to get married, the father was so sad for that. So it's something only for the family, only for the member of the family. And new people are not so welcome.
Daniel, you read the stories as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, what do you think he's trying? Why do you think he creates the family of sticks at the end? Why do you think he does that? I mean, either in his mind or maybe in a way that he's not even aware. Why do you think he does that?
Maybe it's a kind of border. A border only could be trespass or jam for the crazy man.
Well, when you say border, you mean something that stops him from going out or stops people from coming in? What do you mean?
A kind of country border, a kind of frontier.
Almost like a wall.
Yes.
Interesting.
It's
And what do you?
It's my war. It's my war. The man says, "It's my war, and nobody can come in it."
Adi, did you have a chance to read these stories too? Or are you hearing them for the first time today?
I'm hearing for the first time today.
Okay. So were you able to follow the second story, the sticks, the one we're talking about? Was it pretty clear?
Yes. It's pretty clear. I think the story is a story about his family, and I still reread the story actually.
Here's something to think about. What if? Let me ask you this, and I'm asking all of you actually your opinions. Does he ever communicate with his kids? Does the dad ever communicate with his kids in the story? Ever? What do you think? Because I think the story has a lot to do with communication, and I think those signs at the end are the pinnacle moment of the story.
Yes.
I think it's typical story. Something is becoming mad, and when he stayed alone, because his wife died, his childs go out home.
When his children leave?
Children leave, yes. He's in his own jail. I don't know. I know some people. He became mad when he lives alone.
Some people who become mad or who became mad when they were alone.
When there's they are a little mad at the beginning, but when they are alone, they become straight away mad, and they
completely mad.
And they do crazy things like that.
I don't think so, Daniel. I'm sorry. I don't think he's crazy man. I feel he's quite ordinary person. Only I suppose from this text, he's a person who is unwilling to talk about what he feel and what he feels to other person. I think the essence of this story is put on one sentence. Yeah, the Paul was that's one concession to agree. Yeah, so he different. Yes, certainly he is a quite a lonely person. I think the Paul is his only one friend. Maybe he can talk to his real feeling. Yes, it sounds a little strange, but it happens. I understand how he feels. There is a thing for every person that you can't talk to other persons. So I think this person, main character of this person, is maybe all people like maybe can have a same feeling to this person.
Everyone can relate.
Everyone can relate, yes.
Here's the theory for you. Can I give you a theory?
Yeah.
Yeah? You tell me if you think this is more or less on track. I think he I think he's crazy. I think he's out of his mind. But I agree with Yuki too, that I think we can all relate. And I think that it's a very sad story. I think that I can relate because we can all relate to people who are um, left out, particularly with a generation gap. And I think that's part of what this is about. But what I want to say is, here's my theory. When he creates the family of sticks and he writes messages on the sticks, it seems to be that that's the only time when he's able to communicate his feelings, and he has to do it through the sticks. The only communication he had with his family was they're pouring ketchup. Good enough, stop. Good enough, stop. And then suddenly, when he's almost at the end of his life, this display that he puts on the front lawn of his house, that's when he can sort of have this authentic communication. And he can't even express it in words. He just love, not even a full sentence. What do you think about that theory? Carolina, do you like that theory? Or do you think I'm the one who's crazy?
No, I agree with you. I was thinking the same. I think it's a way to, he uses the sticks. He used the sticks as a way to communicate with her child and with the what I think their feelings and so on. Because he's incapable to do it by face to face, for example.
He can't. His face-to-face communication seems to be about controlling them. And like Yuki said, his one concession to Glee is they put on this public show. For some reason, he's got this crazy idea to put on this public show every holiday. Let me just ask.
I think he
go for
began
it.
to do it in holiday in holiday for Super Bowl, and then it passed to do it for everything, and for
He has to find more holidays.
yes, and he finally he did for all he thinks or for all.
Shadow, are you out there? Because you've been very quiet. Hello, Shadow?
Yeah, hello, teacher. Hello, everybody. I'm sorry about this story. I didn't get really. I just read the first one and the last one. And this one, I don't know what's the meaning of the pool.
The meaning of the poll.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we can talk about that for a second to make it more clear. So, look, I have a question in the discussion that says, what does the poll, oh, it's just the polls, what does the poll in sticks have to do with American culture? So let's be clear about one thing. Why does he originally put out the poll? If we're clear about that, it'll make more sense. Why does he put it out the first time, Shadow, in the story? Do you remember?
Teacher, I don't know what's the poll. I searched in Google that.
It's a stick, like a pole you put a flag on. A big stick you can wave a flag on. So
Okay.
there's this flag pole, but it doesn't have a flag on it. Do you remember the first thing he puts on the pole? It's in the front of his house.
Yeah, it's Uncle Sam, and he said
Uncle Sam?
and
That's
4th
right.
of July.
Yeah, that's right. So Uncle Sam, and then it's a football player during the Super Bowl. You know what the Super Bowl is, everyone?
Yes.
Yes, Super Bowl is taking place on February.
Well, what is
January. January. It's American football final down.
Right.
Yes?
Championship, right?
Championship. Yes.
That's right. Big deal. It's a big deal.
Every American people stick to television with the hand on their hand, pizza on their hand.
Is that right?
Right? I don't know.
Every American except me.
You are exception. Yeah?
I left. I don't know anything about the Super Bowl anymore. Joe, are you out there? Mr. Joe, out there in Cairo, are you there? Oh no, Joe's not there. Joe's silent. Joe's shy. Don't be shy, Joe. Mr. Adi, are you still out there?
Yes.
Good. So in the beginning, he's dressing it up for 4th of July, for the Super Bowl, and then after he runs out of holidays, what does he do after that? Let's just be clear about that point. How does he change? What does he start to dress it up as, Adi? Is that part clear?
Uh, no, it's not really clear, but I still.
So we go to Groundhog's Day.
Okay.
Did you ever see the movie Groundhog's Day?
Yes.
So you remember what happens on Groundhog's Day, more or less? Not in the movie, but I'm saying, do you remember what it's supposed to be about?
Groundhog
If the
Days
groundhog
is.
sees its shadow, what happens? Do you know?
Teacher, you asking me?
I know.
I was talking to Adi. I don't think he heard me.
Oh, sorry.
But but what happens in Groundhog's Day?
In Groundhog's Day, I forgot because I was learning. It has a long time ago.
No problem, no problem. In the holiday, it's first of all, do you think Groundhog's
Yeah.
Day is a major holiday in America? Everyone celebrates Groundhog's Day?
I guess yes, because I guess yes.
You
It's
guess
just like
yes?
it's just like a Thanksgiving days, and it is on to February if I don't get wrong.
I have no idea when it is. I think you're right, but I'm not sure. But it's not a major holiday. It's kind of a
Oh.
joke. It's kind of a joke. If the groundhog comes out and sees its shadow, it goes back into its
Oh
little
yeah.
hole and goes to sleep. That's the idea. So it's not normally the occasion to celebrate something and dress up your front yard. So it seems like he's looking for excuses to dress up the pole, basically. He's looking for excuses. So my question was, what does the pole have to do with American culture? Forgetting about the psychology of the guy, if you know a little bit about, what do you think is the connection with American culture? Is George Sanders making a comment about, let's say, rituals in America? Do you think he's trying to say something about that? Class.
I think American have a history. Uh, mm, I think many American feel doesn't feel their country's long history and cultural background. So they maybe American people want to have a feeling of America by celebrating holidays. That's why there is a Thanksgiving Day and big football countdown, yeah, and even grand folk day. So I think this protagonist of this story is a symbol of Americans. They, I suppose that many of them feel the unreliability and to their country, to their they want to have a things that they can believe. So sense of, I feel the sense of uncertainty of Americans here in this story. From I'm sorry, difficult to explain.
So let's see if we got this. Let's see if we got this. So the dad in the story, he's kind of representative of American culture in a way, right?
Yes, I think so.
And the way he represents it is because he's looking for meaning, and it's almost as if he has to find any excuse to keep doing this ritual, right? The first, it's a normal thing. In holidays, we put Santa Claus out. In Easter, we put the Easter Bunny out. On Groundhog Day, we don't do anything because that's just a joke. But this guy has to go out there and dress up the stick like a groundhog. And then there's an earthquake in Chile. Oh my God, that's not a holiday anymore. And then the ritual changes because then what happens when his wife dies? Do you remember what happens?
He had photos of his wife when she was child.
Exactly. So what do you think that, I mean, do you notice a switch there between what he was doing before? I mean, what changes there, Daniel? Is this about ritual, like, big holidays? What happened here?
I don't know.
Well, not everyone knows about his wife, right? So there's some change in his behavior.
Yes, before in the first.
Oh, one at a time.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Daniel.
Finish up, Daniel. Go ahead.
He radicalized his costume for the.
I couldn't hear the word. Sorry. He.
Radically. His costume for the stick.
he radicalizes his you mean habit?
Yes, his habit. Yes.
Radical has the idea of the root, and I think that's a good point. He returns back to the original idea, but the root of the idea, which is kind of a commitment, but now it's very personal. It's like he's lost the ritual.
First half of this story, he only celebrated the official holidays and famous holidays in America, but in the end of the story, the holiday became his personal day, personal memory. So he has been changed as gradually as the story goes. So that's the most important, interesting point of this story.
And the communication as well becomes so personal that it becomes unable, for me at least, unable to even really understand. Like we all understand what Santa Claus means, right? But hanging a sign that says love and forgive is confusing. It seems like it personalizes and then it becomes a kind of personal message in that no one can understand. Sylvia, what did you think about the ending? Do you remember how it ends? Do you remember?
Okay, he died and the stick was inside the house. The new owner decided to put the sticks to the garbage.
He puts it out on the street for garbage day.
Yes.
And don't forget, he died with the radio on. He died with the radio on. I don't think that's an accident. If this story is a lot about communication and lack of communication, and it's about ritual and public and private, communication in this kind of cultural ritual. So two kinds of ideas there. What does that ending do for you? How do you feel? What do you think it means?
Okay, it's really sad. So it means that the old system of communication, speaking with people, is died, and now there are only media, and you can use them. And yes.
Yeah, the radio for me was important too because it seems like you can just imagine this guy alone, and I mean, I don't know about you, but old people have at least what I always remember, like going to whatever grandparents or whatever, and the television and radio was always on. And why is it there? It's there because they don't have children in the house and they need noise. So it's like this sign of, I think we can all relate to that, turning on the radio or television just to not have silence. What a terrible way to go. Pretty depressing.
I
Let me
think
ask.
solitude is a
Go ahead.
feature of
All the
urban life.
stories.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, all the story is depressing. It's really, really sad. I don't
Well,
like it so much.
it's funny. It's sad but funny. It's a tragic comedy. It's both. Come on, the guy does some pretty wacky things. It is kind of funny. Funny but sad. I think it would be horrible as a novel. We would kill ourselves after reading this in a 300-page novel. But it's so short that it's just short enough that we can bear the story. It's just short enough that it's the right balance of humor and pathos, maybe. That's my take. I don't know what the rest of you think.
I prefer the first story.
Oh my God, really? To me, that's
It was so weird. Because start from the end.
What do you think would have been different if the story started at the beginning? How would that story have been different for you?
It would be a normal story, a common story. So the fact that I like was that he started from the end, and so you discover at the beginning that she died, and they are really close, and you arrive in the end of the story when they met, and usually are the opposite.
That's true. It's the wife in reverse.
That's funny.
Would that story have interested any of you if it had been told from beginning to end? I'm just curious.
Yes.
Would it have been interesting?
Yes, I'm really interested.
Go for it, Adi.
Yeah, I'm really interested in this story. At the first time, I'm really confusing with the story because the story was because the story is related with the culture in America, and I'm really confusing about the culture. But after I trying to understand the story is very emotional for me because at the first time when the people in his family is lives together, it's just like the father is just like don't care with the kids, and then when all the family members are gone, the father is more become emotional, and he saw it with a stick. I mean, with the pole. Yeah, that's why he he not he changed the way he changed the way. I mean, for example, in the first paragraph, always on Thanksgiving and another day like official day, and then at the second
Holidays.
paragraph
On the
is yes,
holidays.
holidays, and in the second paragraph is on Groundhog Day and many others. And I think it is more emotional because there is his expression is about saying apologize about what he did. More
Yeah, exactly. So you're talking about the second story, not the first, though, right?
Yes.
You're talking about sticks.
I mean.
Okay. Because we moved on to
I mean,
another story. That's why I'm just clarifying. I think you're right. He comes to realize at the end of Sticks that he maybe has ruined something but he's not able to express it. He has to do it through these weird handwritten notes. That's why I think he's crazy, but at the same time, it's very moving because he recognizes that he's done something wrong to his family, I guess. I think he recognizes it. So that's a very good point. I absolutely agree. Listen, we're almost at the end of the class. I wanted to ask about the story we haven't talked about at all yet. Well, we've only got about a minute or so. But let me just ask you about the zebra story.
Yes, zebra story is very interesting. I like it also as well. It's a very ironical story, and maybe this story reminds me of that of writers of Soviet in the time of Soviet Union. I remember the famous Russian writer Mikhail Bulgakov. He wrote a famous novel, The Master and Margarita. Have you heard about it?
Yeah, of course, it's a classic.
Yeah. He said that manuscript don't burn. Every Russian people know this phrase. So his writing, his novel is banned to publish. So in the time of the Soviet Union, he has very difficult. He has difficulty to continue to work as a writer. But now many Russian people, Bulgakov is one of most popular writers now. And in the end of this story, reminds me of this message from the writer of this story. So
Message from the author, you mean?
Yes, finally a storyteller won. Yeah, and cat has died. So
and the author of the short story talks directly to the reader. That's the purpose. I mean, like, really addresses the reader too. So it's got a strange moment of breaking down the fourth wall, like addressing the reader directly, which is kind of interesting. That's the purpose of a storyteller. Well, listen, I've got to start the next class, but if you want to, you should send me your questions and comments about anything in either of the three stories. I'd like to hear your opinions, and I chose these stories because they were written with a more experimental form, and that's what they had in common. To show you that you don't have to be the best, most advanced reader of English to be able to understand something that's innovative and different. Okay, but we don't have time to discuss all the stories equally, so send your questions and comments to me and I'll help you out, and maybe we can talk about them in a further class. I can try to compare them to some other stories, and we can talk about them in comparison to later work, if I can find something similar experiments. So I'm sorry to end the discussion here, but I got to start the business class. I'll be back in just a moment for that, and we're right in the middle of our vocabulary section of new business, innovations, and startups. Okay, so thanks for the discussion, everyone, and send me any questions and comments you have, and I'll help clarify things that we didn't address in the class today. All right? Very good discussion, though. Bye for now, everyone. See you soon. Bye for now.
Yes, sir.